everyone, welcome to a new episode of Voice of Crypto. This is a podcast where we talk about Web3, Metaverse, crypto, and everything here. And today I have Sanjay Mehta with me. Sanjay Mehta is the CEO of Sphere, and they are doing some amazing work. And while I was talking to Sanjay, he just told me that England has scored a goal, and so I've requested him to switch off the TV so that he's not distracted during this podcast. So welcome on the podcast, Sanjay.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. An absolute pleasure to be on the podcast. Unfortunately, your request is denied for the television to be turned off.
Great. So Sanjay, why don't you tell our audience your journey into Web3 and what you used to do before Web3, and what idea are you working on, and how you got into Web3 and Metaverse space currently?
Sure thing. So, I've had a mixed bag of a career. I've done multiple things in my time. Always been an entrepreneur. Always been a founder. And my last business, which I ran for over 15 years, was in the apparel industry, and we was doing sports apparel, and had license agreements with Nike, and also sold to some major high streets as well. I sold that business 5 years ago, and when I sold that business, I got into cryptocurrency more as an investment, and that's when I got intrigued with the entire space and the developments and the movements that's been happening, particularly in the Web3 and the NFT field. That's where I got really excited, and I saw a beginning of a new era, and I really thought I could help grow this particular field. And with my passion for sports, we all decided that this was the best entry point for our business.
Great. So Sanjay, most of people whom I talk to about Web3, they all enter by some accident, and it's never a planned event that they want to get. So do you remember that accident which propelled you towards Web3 and then this whole new world of industry and this whole new category?
It's very interesting, actually, because around about the time of my birthday, my son, and I was living in India at that time, so my son wanted to buy me a Tottenham Hotspur t-shirt, and he couldn't really find one in India. So then he decided that, look, why don't I get an NFT? And my son is quite smart. He thought he'll keep the NFT and give me the t-shirt, because he wanted to do both, right? So he looked and couldn't find it. So then he came to me and said, "Look, Dad, you're into crypto. You're looking at the Metaverse and all of this. This is what's happening at the moment. There's something missing in the industry." And I could really resonate to that, based in India. So that's when it triggered that magic moment for me. And I said, we're at the beginning of something. The clubs have not caught on to what the actual users are. So there's a user case here. So that's what happened.
Understood. So I mean, Sanjay, as we go deeper into these conversations, what are the three myths which you would like to bust right away about Web3, which people think it's very glamorous or it's very easy? What are some of the myths which you would like to break for our audiences here?
I mean, one of the biggest myths is that it's technology, you have to be an expert, it's beyond me. It's none of those. This is a space where everybody's learning, and we're growing together as an industry. Ultimately, we're looking at what's wrong with Web 2. Because this is like, some people call it a revolution, some people call it an evolution, but it's a step forward from what is out there. And that's what makes it really interesting. And there are times when I lecture at universities and I meet young people, and, they've all got amazing ideas, maybe not fully formulated. Maybe they don't know how to get to the next step because they're young on their entrepreneurial journey. But it's great. This is where it starts from. Great ideas. What's wrong with the existing 2-0? It's 2-0 now, England.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, carry on.
All
So,
those who are listening, they can also get a live sports here.
so I've predicted we have a score predictor game, as you know. So I've predicted 2-0 as the score, but probably it's going to be more than that, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So that the biggest myth is that they have to be an expert. Yeah.
Correct. So, I mean, obviously there are a lot of myths around Web3, and you are trying to break. And since we're talking about football, why don't you tell about your project, what you guys are doing, and what is the technology, and how does that inspiration came to you, or what you guys are currently building currently?
Well, I'm proud to say that we're live as a business. We have a score predictor game. So very simply, you predict the scores of the matches, and if you get a perfect score, you get 50 points. If you get an imperfect score, but you've predicted a win, you get 20 points. And there's no points for incorrect answers. We are doing daily prizes throughout the World Cup. What's very interesting here is that the company is called Sophia Metaverse. Okay, so yes, we're building a metaverse, but it's important to understand that today there are less users in the metaverse. Now, with the prediction games or with fantasy football, one of the games in fantasy football has 10 million users, and the prediction games are still quite new, so they have a little bit less users, but they are into six figures. So the important thing here is that users, especially in the football world, are used to a simpler form of technology. And ours is a hybrid model. So we're allowing users to onboard with what they're comfortable with, which is essentially what you could say is a Web2 format, like an app-based format. And as they get comfortable, and as the metaverse develops, we'll have a metaverse that encompasses much more things. So it's very much a hybrid model. So it encapsulates what's happening today and leads people in the future for tomorrow. When it comes to the technology that we're using, 3-0, by the way, when it comes to the technology, so I've not won my 50 points. When it comes to the technology that we're using, we've gone for the finest, in our opinion, which is Unreal Engine 5, which gives photoreal, content. We have also chosen Polygon as our blockchain of choice. And the reason why we chose that is because of the speed and the low carbon emissions, which leads to what they call gasless fees. So it's very nominal what the fees are. So those are the two main things you could say.
Correct. So guys, the platform is live, and I will put the link also here. So I would request all of you to go check out the website, and yes, do test and do bet as well. You can also win, who knows, 50 points, 20 points. So as Sanjay just said, he will not win 50 points today, but he might still win 20 points, right? If England wins.
I mean, it's 3-0, so I would expect that they're going to win. Yes.
Awesome. So Sanjay, you have been a serial entrepreneur, and you have created businesses. You have sold your businesses. Now you are into this Web3 as an entrepreneur. So what are 3 top qualities which you would or which you think any Web3 entrepreneur should have to get succeed, or to get success in this category as an entrepreneur here?
I mean, honestly speaking, it's like most other businesses. It's hard work, and hard work. There is a little bit of a bad name in the cryptocurrency industry for a number of reasons. Probably misinformation plus bad actors, I would say. Transparency and honesty are key fundamental points that you need to adhere to, but it goes for any business. There's not a magic wand here. If anybody's looking for the magic wand that they're going to start a cryptocurrency or a Web3 business and be rich overnight, forget it. Play the lottery or play the score predictor game. You've got more chances.
So that was a subtle plug-in by Sanjay about his business, and that's what. So I think one more quality which I would like to add is every entrepreneur should be shamelessly marketing their own brand. They should be shamelessly selling their brand, because if you don't sell your brand, who else will? So that's one added point from my side. Hopefully, I also get 20 points on the predictor game. So moving to my next question, Sanjay, you are building Metaverse in the sports industry. You have been associated with sports as a category. Where do you think in the next 5 to 10 years will Metaverse lead, and specifically to sports as a category? Where do you see the future of sports and Metaverse combining and taking us probably in, let's say, to 2032? What do you see?
So we're in a bear market, first of all, generally speaking, as a metaverse. What's very interesting is that, I was listening to Bloomberg News yesterday, and there was saying that the sports industry is quite recession proof as an industry overall. So I think that in the early stage, when we get takeoff actually happening, it's the sports industry that's going to be leading the way. Okay, so the adoption for sports fans is going to be the fastest. And when there's adoption within an industry, that's when there's more focus on technology for the implementation of future possibilities. So if we take it from a sports fan's point of view, you've got the live game. Now, we're never going to take that away from what happens in a stadium. Okay, we want to enhance it. We understand the limitations. Maybe 100,000 fans can enjoy that particular moment, but we're talking about a global audience. So it's important to have a similar experience for the rest of the world. With technology, and technology, if we understand that we used to listen, well, maybe, not our lifetime, but we used to listen to on the radio to what was happening in the match. We still do today, but that was before television. So television brought that to life and has expanded it globally. Television rights is now one of the biggest costs in rights issuances for the football world. And the metaverse is going to be an extension of that, in the sense that we're going to have additional technologies to give a different experience. So there's lots of possibilities. We've got motion capture that is still in its infancy, that needs some work on. We've got interactive TV, we've got esports. So there's a lot of segments where we can see advancements.
So, I mean, since you're talking about sports as a category, you have been into sports. Do you think any specific sports would be more keen to move to metaverse, or the adoption will be faster, or it will be generic for all these sports?
It's going to be across all the sports.
Across all the categories.
It's going to be across all the sports, yes.
And do you think gamers who are, I mean, I would still say it's a traditional gaming of gamers. What will be their adoption towards metaverse? Do you think they'll be more adaptive, or they will still prefer doing traditional, or it will be hybrid model? What are your views about traditional gaming moving towards metaverse?
So we are going to be hosting, we've got it planned for March 23, our first esports competition in the metaverse. So we believe strongly about the interaction with gamers and the metaverse. Currently, a large portion of metaverse users are gamers. But our model is that we're going to have physical destinations for esports and the metaverse combined. this is the direction that we're going on. So gamers are very much a part of the metaverse.
Understood. And since we are talking about gamers and metaverse, there are, I mean, metaverse is still a wild, wild west. There are no specific laws. It is borderless. So, from your point of view and from your understanding, how will these challenges, like whether it's legal, ethical, or moral issues, would be solved in metaverse, being it a borderless technology? How, I mean,
Well, I
how will be
mean,
that problem solved?
laws are really based upon common sense. So we have limited laws, shall we say, at the moment. People are writing up these laws. Our incorporation is based in the UK, which is a very fair country, and so we're following their laws as a guideline. It's something that's going to evolve. Space. We need to have good actors. So I'm positive from that. We've got some lessons to be learned from Web2. There's a lot of bullying that goes on in schools with social media. Wasn't there years ago. We haven't tackled that yet.
Correct.
Still working on that as an industry. So Web3 has got will have newer challenges as well, but we'll get around them.
And you I mean, you when we started this conversation, you spoke about that one of the myths which we should initially, I mean, a lot of people think that it is a very tech driven industry and you have to be a techie to get into this and to succeed. Although it's a tech driven industry, what are your tips for somebody who comes from a non-tech background to learn and grow in metaverse, either as a business or as a consumer?
I mean, ultimately, however good your tech or bad it is, you have to think from a user's point of view. So there's a lot of things that make a good business. You need to be able to explain what you're doing well, maybe in one or two sentences, not in deep tech, because people don't really understand that, even techies. I've got a lot of my friends that are into deep tech and they say, what is a metaverse?
Right.
So it just goes to show, the knowledge in the space. You have passion, have belief in what you're doing. Speak to friends and family. They're your early evangelists. So this is a little bit of advice I can give.
Awesome. So, I mean, too much of serious conversations. Now, let's play a quick rapid fire questions, Sanjay. So, the idea of this section is I will ask you few questions. You have to immediately answer me within 3 seconds. No explanation given. Just answer what comes in your mind first. Right. So, are you ready?
Fire away.
Okay. NFT or metaverse?
Metaverse.
Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Ethereum.
Is metaverse a disruptive innovation?
Yes.
Will the metaverse replace internet?
No.
Is this the right time for companies to migrate to metaverse?
Always.
Is the current technology suitable for metaverse to become a reality?
We're getting there.
From hardware and software, both point of view. Anyways, so let's move to next question. Is metaverse fun?
Yes.
Are metaverse and Web3 the same thing?
No.
One company from fashion industry that should enter the metaverse?
I think there's a lot of great companies already there. Day by day, they're migrating.
Should education industry flock to metaverse?
Definitely.
Sports or music concerts?
Always sports.
And which sports celebrity should come to metaverse?
I think they're all getting there one by one. It's whoever's getting invited. The biggest celebrities in the world are coming there. Some for the right reasons, some for the wrong reasons, but they're all there.
So hopefully we'll see some celebrities coming on your platform as well very soon.
Yeah, as long as we've got you, Abhishek, we'll be happy with that.
Thank you for calling me celebrity. Awesome. So it was really great talking to Sanjay. As we move towards the end of our podcast, I have two hypothetical questions for you.
Okay.
Question number one is, if I give you a time machine, if you could go back in time at any point of your time in your life, where will you go, which year? And if you Would you like to make any changes? And if yes, what change would you like to make?
So is this in my particular lifetime or throughout history?
No, for your lifetime.
For my lifetime, my goodness. So I've done multiple businesses in my time. And if I could go back into a time machine, I'll go back into every one of my businesses and fix things. And that's how it is. The journey for an entrepreneur is not a graph that just goes all the way up. If anybody thinks that and they're looking at a success story, it's not the way. Even if you listen to Michael Jordan and they say, how did he do so good? But they don't know the struggles that he had before he got there. So, and reality is, yes, we'd all love to go into a time machine, but those mistakes is what have made you. Those ones, the thing is, it's important that people learn from their mistakes. That'll be the thing that they got to understand, that we all make mistakes. You got to learn from it and go forward and implement them.
Absolutely. So I think that's a very good answer. Wherever you are today is because of whatever you have done, whether it was a mistake or a learning, whatever. Otherwise, you would not be here. You would not be able to come to Abhishek Rajpurohit's podcast. So you are lucky. And my second question to you, Sanjay, is in the same time machine, if you could go ahead 10 years down the line, where do you see yourself? Where do you see your brand? Where do you see Metaverse?
So 10 years in the metaverse industry is a very long time. We're at the infancy of artificial intelligence at this moment. So the artificial intelligence is going to have a major impact on when it comes from a technological point of view. As we have got, we've been in business for many years, our team is old and established. I see that we're going to have multiple partnerships just from our relationships. So I see that as big growth for us. Our model is really unique. So I do see some fast adoption from where we are today. Today, we've started off with football. We will, in the time span that you said, have more sports and hopefully be specialist in sports, because we feel that the industry, number one, is big enough. We want to be a specialization within our industry. I wouldn't say that we may be the biggest. That's not what the achievement is, but we want to be the best. That's where we'd like to be.
That's a really good goal to have, not to be the biggest, but be the best, and automatically you'll become biggest as you start becoming.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at Apple, that's a really unique user case because they're the biggest and the best.
Right.
So that's quite rare to get that, like that sweet spot, so to speak. No, but we can all aim for that. But if I have to choose, then I'll choose to have the best. And best doesn't mean the most expensive as well. It's not the definition of being the highest price point to be the best. It's what a natural, the natural product, the go-to product that a fan would want to be associated with. And that's how I would, quantify that.
Absolutely. Great, Sanjay. It was really a pleasure hosting you on Voice of Crypto as a podcast. And thank you for coming on this, and all the best for the project. What's the score now?
It's still 3-0. It's half time. You can see my head moving.
So yes, so now I'll not keep you away from the TV. And thank you for coming on this podcast. And we really wish you all the best.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. You take care.
Thank you.
Bye.